Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jason O'Rourke. I'm the head teacher of Washingborough Academy, which is a primary school in Lincolnshire in the UK. I'm here at the kind invitation of Tom to just discuss about food education and how that can have a really positive effect on children's physical and mental well-being at the chalk face within the school. And I'm going to go through a little bit of policy detail with you, and also look examples and the planning that we do, how we immerse food education and children's health and well-being within the curriculum that we have at our school. So as I say, just a review of what I'm going to go through today, looking at policy in the UK and how that relates to what we do within the school, and how we can support our school environment that immerses the children in practices that support their health and well-being, but they may not know it. So it's just getting that enjoyment out of the lessons that they have, and also equipping the children with the knowledge and the skills that will then transfer later on for them later on in life, but also their home situations as well. So first off, let's have a look at the review of the current delivery of food education in the UK. It's very limited in my viewpoint. This is what, in the whole of our national curriculum, this is what it says about food. It sits within cooking and nutrition, they call it. It sits within the subject of design and technology. It's not separate. This has an advantage in the fact that it is extremely broad and open to interpretation, but it also has its limitations for school staff who do not have the confidence in their own food education knowledge and skills. And if they're unsure and nervous about the content delivery, this sometimes can be transferred over to children as well. One of my big things about the national curriculum of food and education is this focus on nutrition. And you can see here that there's also a little bit about calories and dietary intake and obesity, and I think sometimes we get away from the other really important aspects of food that I'll come on to later on. So also it says here the guidance on physical health and mental well-being is by the end of primary school they should children should know what constitutes a healthy diet, and here again they're focusing on calories and nutritional content. It makes it very science-based, and we know food has lots of different avenues that we can go down, and I think this kind of narrowing of it sometimes puts people off. Also they're about the principles of planning and preparing a range of healthy meals. That doesn't often mean the actual practicality of it, which children really enjoy, but the principles of it. And then we've also got sorry, I'll go back. We've also got the aspect of them knowing about obesity and tooth decay, how that affects it. Again, quite it needs to be a little bit more broad in my view. So what have we done about it? We've created this year of food education. We've planned a whole year around what we deliver in school. There's aspects there, the beige aspect is sensory food-based education, which we do with our youngest children, which is a key thing to get them inquisitive about it, to get them curious about it, and then we can build on all the other elements of our food within our curriculum, and a cross-curricular approach, not just food in its singularly, but we look at it through history, through geography, through maths, through literacy. Okay, so it intertwines everything, as well as the growing aspect and the cooking aspect as well. See here our cycle B, so we have a 2-year cycle for this, so the children are not repeating things year on year. We try and spread it out over 2 years. There's so much to cover. You can see there about animal welfare, about farm visits, about fair trade, about food waste, about sustainability, about biodiversity, Okay, so all of these aspects of food that have an impact on our everyday life. And that is broken down into how we plan that on a yearly basis within the classrooms as well. So you can see with the planning there, where we link it to growing, the health and safety aspect of it, the cooking skills that we're developing as well. So really planned and detailed, and so staff get excited about it. It's not just an add-on and saying we're just doing a bit of cooking later on in the term. How is that going to have a really positive effect on our children? Key thing here is providing timetabled opportunities. Okay, if we think we're going to do it and we just say, right, yes, that'll happen at one point in the term, it tends to go by the wayside. Other things take over. So we have dedicated time within our timetable where we will be doing aspects of food education. Hence you see from the planning that we've got there. Okay, so we provide those timetabled opportunities, and that's when it will be happening. Okay, and that's an important thing, of making sure there is a space for this to happen. You can see here lots of different things of gardening, of being out there. We do have great space at our school. We have a 300-metre squared kitchen garden. We have polytunnels. We have an apiary. You can see the children there with the honey. But that, if you haven't got that space, it doesn't stop it happening. There's fantastic programs out there for inner city children to grow things, edible playgrounds, all types of different resources that can support the children's learning of that. Also, as I said at the beginning, about staff's interest in it and their confidence. That sometimes is limited. Okay, just because they have not had those experiences as a child and built up those confidence and that knowledge and skills. And so by providing training for your staff, they then think, this is great, this is really enjoyable, this is an area that I can really focus on. But they need to have that skill because they're the people that will be delivering this and getting children excited about it as well. Another one is tapping into the expertise on our doorsteps, our parents and our community. There are some fantastic examples we have in our school of cultural differences with food, people coming in and celebrating that and wanting to support that. Here we have an example of a mum coming in and teaching the staff about Thai cooking. And the smells that were coming out of that, the curiosity from the staff, the excitement from the staff about doing that, and they went away in that week, cooking all types of Thai dishes. They will then bring that into their classrooms and give them that impetus, which then gets transferred over to the children as well. Here we've got some of our Polish community coming in and showing us how to preserve food. Those lost skills sometimes. When we have ultra processed food in the shops and we have, different types of season food 12 months of the year, these skills here of our cucumbers that we're preserving for the year, but the community coming in and supporting that and helping with that. As I mentioned before about different aspects we can look in, different lenses we can see food at. And sustainability and biodiversity is a big one, but also about food waste, okay, and making sure that our children look at that and see how they can make a difference. We've done that in our school here, where the children measure the food waste, see what meals or what ingredients are the ones that are being thrown away, how we can adapt our meals, but also how we can change children's viewpoint of the food that they're throwing away and try it in a different area. Different areas we've got here about dehydration. This was done for a space topic. We bought a very cheap dehydrator, dehydrating blueberries there and celery, and trying them later on. Again, elements of our food waste cycle of growing produce, cooking it, eating it, separating the waste there into cooked food and non-cooked food, and then composting it, going back into our garden. Different aspects of our food that we can enjoy, and children getting their hands dirty, making sure that they are at the very centre of our food culture within our school, our whole school approach to food. Okay, so planting those seeds, nurturing those seeds, harvesting the plants, taking them up to the kitchen, and then eating them at the lunch as well. Okay, really important. Some fantastic images there of our children in our polytunnel picking those tomatoes, and you know that a tomato picked off a vine is so much different from a tomato from a shop that's all wrapped in plastic. Different opportunities here. We have a fire pit and the children making bread on sticks and cooking with that. So bringing in our community as well, the external aspect of it, bringing in our parents. Parents are more likely to come into a school on a food-based activity than they are on a maths or an English one. So using that as a way to support what's going on in school, and that has a really good effect on children's mental well-being. Seeing their parents in there and seeing that, and that way that food is a social glue. It brings people together, and we know, in the past 3 years with the pandemic and school closures and people being separated, how food is one of those very few elements that can bring people together to get talking and relating to each other and finding out about each other. And that's so good for people's mental health. Making it fun and exciting. We've got different types of apples there, different types of textures of apples, smells of apples, children harvesting the apples as well and then discussing them. Different types of varieties of pumpkins that we grow. We only grow heritage and heirloom varieties of seeds, so we can grow that different varieties that they don't see in the shops. And they may say, oh, I don't like courgettes, but you haven't tried this courgette or you haven't tried this pumpkin. And that also helps us with seed saving, which I'll mention later on here. Actually, if you're growing heritage and heirloom varieties of seeds, you can then save them and use them the following year as well. Cuts down on your financial outlay as well. And children get very excited about saving those seeds and using them and packaging them up for the following year. Farmer Time is another link that we have in the UK about linking up with farmers, local farmers, via webcams, via iPads, not visiting them per se, because that can be really expensive, but then they get that engagement with that food and then that enjoyment as well. And all of the plants that we grow and the produce that we use, we can then sell back to our community, and that provides the funding for other projects within our school garden, okay, and the preserves that we make as well, and the children make those preserves and selling them to the community and getting that engagement there, getting that interest in it, and providing here, you can see the resources available for children and teachers. So there are no barriers there. I go in some schools and say, well, we haven't got the resources here. Provide them for them as school leaders so they have those things available for them. This is a program that we've just set up just to start people off. Okay, it's called Tasted. It's about sensory food education for our younger children, getting them inquisitive about it. And it's all a series of lesson plans and PowerPoints that you can use that will handhold teachers so that they become confident in doing it. Okay. You can see there the lessons, and it's free. You go to tasteeducation.com and sign up. You can get these lessons and these PowerPoints for the staff to engage in that and get that sense of engagement from teachers, get that kind of structure so that they feel confident with it as well. Okay, and it's fantastic at developing literacy, fantastic at developing vocabulary for children as well, with no pressure for them to try food. Some children don't want to try things. They're really insecure about that. But we find that if they're holding and discussing and smelling and listening to foods, at the end of it, they're more inclined to want to try it. And of course, there's that different relationship they have with the teachers and their peers as well that really supports that. But a really, really effective program that was developed in France in the 70s, and we've taken it on in the UK and created Taste It out of it. But one way of really engaging adults and children, a simple way of getting down to the basics of food, using our senses to explore different foodstuffs. You can see there the gardening approach as well, and you don't have to have a big space to do this. You can grow potatoes in pots. You could have hanging baskets full of strawberries or hanging tomatoes. We have a corridor up here where we grow microgreens that we use in the salads. And just a couple of UV lights, and they're growing little basils and little broccolis and all types of things. And the children are really excited about that and trying these different flavours, these different mustardy flavours as well. And that really supports their inquisitiveness, their trying of different produce as well. And lastly, I'm going to go on the social aspect of food, which comes back to children's mental well-being. Okay, and that food brings us all together. That idea of a shared relationship around food, the social aspect of it as well, and it also brings in cultural awareness and intergenerational relationships, and bringing people in to share that food. I think it's really important in this day and age that people use food as that tool, that social glue, to get people working together and sharing the plate together. And we use that a lot within our school, where we have a food event and different people come in for it. Really supportive of that. So I think, to summarise, of course, eating healthier, getting children to be aware of how food can support our physical well-being. We know about that, and we know about giving children that opportunity to eat more fruit and veg, but also that growing of food, that social aspect of food is so good for children's mental well-being. That being outside and getting your hands dirty is a fantastic way that we can engage in food. So looking at it from those different lenses and that whole school food approach really can support children's health, physical health and mental health and well-being as well. Okay, please, there's the if you want to get in touch regarding that, and as I said, tasteeducation.com for physical resources that may get you on that journey. Okay, thank you.